Sheoldred the Apocalypse has dominated Standard more or less since the day it was first printed in Dominaria United. A year has passed, Wilds of Eldraine has dropped, and Sheoldred's still at the top of the meta with our most recent data showing that it's in over 40% of Standard decks. There's no doubt that Sheoldred's good. It's easily one of the best cards in Standard. So this should mean that the more Sheoldreds we put in our deck, the better our deck will be, right? Well, that's what we're going to find out today, is we play some Standard, but literally every single one of our cards is actually just a Sheoldred. So first we have literal Sheoldred the Apocalypse, 4 copies of course, because many of our other Sheoldreds depend on us finding a real Sheoldred first. The second most important card in our deck is Mirror Box, which is a Sheoldred since it allows us to keep more than one Sheoldred on the battlefield, even though Sheoldred's legendary. We also have 2 other creatures in our deck, Likeness Looter and Ludovic Necrogenius, but really they're both just Sheoldreds thanks to their ability to copy creatures in our graveyard. Likeness Looter is especially broken because it ends up being a Sheoldred with flying, as if Sheoldred needed to be even better. The Iron Crag might look like a ramp spell, and while it does sometimes ramp us into Sheoldred, it's actually just another Sheoldred since we can sacrifice it to beseech the mirror to bargain a Sheoldred onto the battlefield. Speaking of the bargain mechanic, Candy Grapple might look like removal, but it's actually a Sheoldred thanks to the Apprentice's Folly. The Izzet Saga is another Sheoldred. It makes a hasty non-legendary copy of Sheoldred when it comes into play. The problem is when we hit the last lore counter, it makes us sacrifice our Reflection Sheoldred. Candy Grapple lets us get around this by sacrificing the Folly before it hits the 3rd lore counter, which makes it a Sheoldred. The same is true of Virtue of Persistence. Sure, sometimes it might kill a creature in the early game, but really it's just a Sheoldred every single turn once we get it on the battlefield, since it can reanimate Sheoldred and Likeness Looter and Ludovic, both of which, remember, are actually just Sheoldreds. Speaking of reanimation, we also have Back for Seconds and the Cruelty of Gix, both of which can reanimate Sheoldred, while the Cruelty of Gix can also tutor up a Sheoldred, and Back to Seconds can do the same trick as Candy Grapple by letting us sacrifice the Apprentice's Folly to keep Sheoldred on the battlefield. Last but not least, we have an Invasion of Amonkhet, which, as you might have guessed, is actually a Sheoldred. We can play it to draw a card and mill a Sheoldred, then attack it with a Sheoldred to flip it into another Sheoldred. Oh yeah, and our sponsor today is even Sheoldred. Well, technically it's Card Kingdom, but considering you can get all the Sheoldreds you need over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish, I think it still counts. So as you can see, our deck is quite literally all Sheoldreds, which should mean that we built the most busted deck in the history of Standard. Or did we? Let's jump into some games and find out. Alright, against the odds time. This week, we're playing Standard, but all of our cards are actually Sheoldred, and that's fine. I mean, we don't technically have an actual Sheoldred, but Beseech the Mirror can find one. And we have card draw, and we have removal that's actually Sheoldred, and 2 Sheoldreds and Apprentice. Once we get the first Sheoldred, we got many Sheoldreds. Tap land, go. Ooh, Swamp is actually pretty good. We did need to hit lands. Is it possible to actually have too many Sheoldreds? It shouldn't be possible, right? The more the merrier. Opponent, Witch's Vanity. Oh, another land is good. Well, let's just play our Invasion, which will hopefully eventually be a Sheoldred. Mill some cards, draw a card. We don't have anything to beseech off of at the moment, so we might have to do it fairly to get Sheoldred. Opponent, Glisa. Ooh, okay, that's actually a great draw. All right, so now we can play the Iron Crag and play a Swamp and Sheoldred away this Glissa. Future Sheoldred away this Glissa. Pass the turn. Now we actually have a tough, well, but how are we being out Sheoldreded in our Sheoldred deck? That doesn't even seem right. Well, I think what we have to do here is bargain away this Iron Crag to get rid of the Sheoldred. Although eventually this Virtue can be that Sheoldred too. Beseech the Mirror for Sheoldred. Actually, I think it might be better to get another Iron Crag, as weird as that sounds. The upside of the Iron Crag is there's a Sheoldred in the graveyard already, so as long as we get to this Virtue, Dugan defends the temple, we can get that Sheoldred, and then this is a Sheoldred, and this is infinite Sheoldred. Hey! Okay. And we will just draw Sheoldred. Yeah, we'll just play Sheoldred, whatever. We could Virtue of Persistence Sheoldred this token, but Iron Crag is going to stay as a mana rock for now. All right, here you go, opponent. How do you feel about a Sheoldred? Opponent gets to put a counter on their dork. Yeah. I mean, if we draw land, we can play the Virtue. If we don't draw land, I guess we can Apprentice's Folly, copy Sheoldred. Although we don't have a way to sack it at the moment. So it's temporary Sheoldred. Ooh, Mirror Box. Mirror Box. We could just play that to set up for the future. Do we care about this flipping? Not that much. So maybe we play the mirror. Yeah, this makes the most sense. Let's kill the token. We can get a Sheoldred out of this. So Virtual Persistence, Sheoldred the token. Play Mirror Box. So we can have all the Sheoldreds. Flip the invasion. Sheoldred. Can you guess what we're going to copy? I think it might be Sheoldred. Yes. All right, 2 Sheoldreds. Iron Crag, you're gonna still stay a mana rock. And all right, your go, opponent. Opponent gonna make a might. Yeah, I don't know if that's better than 2 Sheoldreds, but they also get to flip their saga. Unfortunately for our opponent, Sheoldred and Sheoldred down to 14. Opponent flips their saga. Yes. I am sad this card never really saw play. It's a cool card. You can defense a temple. Opponent. Why are you passing? Oh god, opponent. Oh dear. Oh dear, opponent. Well, Sheoldred triggers, and also this Sheoldred triggers, and then we'll play a land. We could play Virtue of Persistence to get a Sheoldred next turn. I think we do that. It's actually just another Sheoldred. So if they make a might, whatever. It's fine. There's so many Sheoldreds, it doesn't even matter. Hit ya with a Sheoldred. Opponent blocks a Sheoldred. Gonna sack their food to gain a little life. Well, so far, it seems like this Sheoldred might be a good magic card. Opponent draws a card, and Sheoldred number 2 triggers. And there's a Glisa, sure. Okay, we're gonna get mighted down to 27. Well, we're gonna go to our upkeep. And we're going to reanimate each. Wow, we have are these all different versions of Sheoldred too? They are. Sheoldred drawn assembled. Iron Crag opponent, GG's. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll take it. We'll take it. Sounds actually pretty good. We have a Sheoldred in hand. Ludwig's actually a future Sheoldred. Iron Crag turns into Sheoldred with Beseech the Mirror. Oh god. Mono red. Oh, okay. Will our Sheoldreds be fast enough? We are on the draw. All the Sheoldreds in the multiverse don't matter if you are just dead to an aggro red deck before you put them on the battlefield. All right, faces, sure. A little bit of damage and hits us to 16. We draw Shipwreck Marsh. Well, I mean, I think we play Iron Crag. This does get us to Sheoldred next turn. Sheoldred 1. And then we can bargain off in the field. Ooh, it's Gruel. Okay. Is that better or worse than Mono Red? Ruby. Well, I mean, as long as our Sheoldred lives. Questing Druid. Oh, God. All right, all right, all right. Well, play the land. That's a lot of Iron Crags. Sheoldred. We're not going to transform that. Hopefully this Sheoldred can hold down the fort for the moment. Gruel shouldn't be very good at killing it. All right, Sheoldred triggers, down to 18. So as long as this Sheoldred lives and we get to start drawing cards to gain some life, we might be okay. They could have like Nahiri's Warcrafting. All right, Questing Druid. Land and Cacophony Scamp. And Scamp. Aha. I think we block, well, actually, let's block Ruby. We don't want this to die to Play with Fire. Play with Fire is a card our opponent could have in their deck. We really need our Sheoldred to live. Strangle. Why are you playing Strangle in this deck? Well, apparently Sheoldred can be strangled. Today we learned. Playing Magic, sort of, but actually we're just playing only Sheoldreds. Every non-land in our deck is a Sheoldred. Although we have some card draws, hopefully we can find them. Hello to you, friend. You won't be saying hello once you... Cacophony? What? When did Cacophony Scamp become a staple of Standard? Well, we are going to Sheoldred that with a Virtue of Persistence. -2 damage. We should gain 2 life, technically, right? It deals -2 damage to us. Rakdos. Ooh, Iron Crag's actually a pretty nice draw. I think that's better than Likeness Looter here. So play the land, play the Xander's Lounge, pass the turn. Best case, we draw land and we could Likeness Looter Invasion. Or like Mirror Box Likeness. Ooh, Voldaren Thrillseeker. Apprentice's Folly. Apprentice's Folly is one of the Sheoldreds. It isn't that good until we get an actual Sheoldred. Mill. Can we hit a land, please, magic gods? Please, please, please. No, an Ironcrag. Oh, we have so many theoretical Sheoldreds. But we need that first one. Found it. Oh, okay, there we go. That is that first one. I mean, it's possible our opponent could kill it, but we're gonna play a Sheoldred. Imagine that. Yeah, we'll flip that, I think. Opponent. Sheoldred. Drain, yeah. Furnace Rains, that's actually kind of scary. That could, opponent. Invasion kills Sheoldred number 1. Kind of regretting flipping this. Flipping this Ironcrag now. Dark Slick Shores. Well, play Dark Slick Shores. Play an Ironcrag? Yeah, flipping this Ironcrag ended up being kind of a disaster. Yeah, you're go, opponent. Thankfully, we're not under a ton of pressure at the moment. Ooh, all right. Under more pressure, Phyrexian Flesh Gorger. And they have 3 damage with this Thrill Seeker. Opponent. Yeah, hits invasion, flips invasion. Okay, now we're kind of under a ton of pressure. Sort of. Opponent passes, we draw land. Well, play the land. So we can Likeness Looter, turn it into a Sheoldred. All right, well, I mean, that is a way to get a Sheoldred. We can also just copy it. That might be better for now. So we get a hasty Likeness Looter, so we can loot. This also gives us potentially a blocker. This is gonna be interesting. I don't know if it would be better just to flip it into Sheoldred or not. Oh no! Oh, we're getting out Sheoldreded. Oh, that's embarrassing. Do we loot in response? I guess we have to. Oh, these all have menace too. Candy Grapple's actually kind of nice here. We're gonna pitch Apprentices. Well, let's push Mirror Box. We're not near having 2 Sheoldreds at the moment. Flipping these Likeness Looters is gonna be slow. Opponent smacks us for 8. Okay, down to 10. So we can do our cool Save a Sheoldred trick with Candy Grapple. All right, oh, they're gonna sag. Okay, that's actually good. That's good for us. So, they grow their Ashen Reaper. This actually might work out in our favor. So we can, let's think about this. Candy Grapple, bargain away the Apprentice's Folly to keep our Sheoldred. This can become a flying Sheoldred to hit this to do something. I mean, we gotta kill this Sheoldred. If anyone knows how devastating a Sheoldred can be, it's us. Sack the Apprentice's Folly, get rid of the Sheoldred. And now, and draw a card, yes. Now turn you into a Sheoldred, except with flying. I think we're stealing Thrill Seeker? Is there a way we can win with Thrill Seeker Apprentice's Folly? Wow, oh, that might be possible. Okay, so we hit this invasion. We flip the invasion. We get a 4/4. Yeah, we would just Legend Rule ourselves here. So we got to take the Thrill Seeker. So now we have a 6/6 Thrill Seeker. If we're about to die, we can sack it to kill something. I think what we really need, though, is just to... Oh, Sheoldred's Edict to get rid of our Sheoldred. That's unfortunate. Well, it's up to you, Thrill Seeker. You are not a Sheoldred, but you're all we got. Opponent, combat. So opponent's gonna go up to 24. Can we deal 24 points of damage? We could sack to kill something and only take 3, but then we got nothing, and this Apprentice's Folly does nothing. Iara's Oathsworn. Oh, that's a blocker. Being a blocker might be a problem. So we draw a land. If they didn't have a blocker, this would actually be lethal, wouldn't it? Copy the Thrill Seeker. What are we even doing? So we have a Invasion of Amonkhet copy of a Vodaran Thrill Seeker that we're copying with Apprentice Folly. So we can put Everflame on one of them. There's no way we can guarantee the win though, right? Is there a way we cannot die? The pinch is we don't have enough mana. So if we attack with both, our opponent can just block the non-flying Thrill Seeker. This, we'd have to shoot down this, then we have nothing. We can put the equipment on the flying Thrill Seeker, hit for 9, sack it for 9, that's 18, but we're a mana short from sacking this one. We can't really target this. These both have menace. I mean, you know what? on a Thrill Seeker. I think we're just gonna attack and see what our opponent does. Go attacking. So if they don't block, they die. If they do block, we can sack a Thrill Seeker to kill the Ashen Reaper and whoa! Oh my god, they didn't. Oh, it's Xaxes! It's Xaxes! Oh my goodness! What a game! Maybe this Apprentice's Folly card's a real thing. Wow! That was one of the least likely wins I could imagine. Sheoldreds were involved, but that is the Vampire Warrior Zombie Reflection Invasion of Amonkhet win? Literally all of our cards are just Sheoldred. The mirror boxes let us keep our Sheoldreds. Cruelty of Gix is a Sheoldred. Virtue of Persistence can be a Sheoldred every turn, potentially. About it. Mono black, eh? Opponent also might be Sheoldreding. I like those swamps. Those swamps look good on Arena. Graveyard Trespass. That's kind of annoying against our graveyard stuff. Likeness Looter, eh? The other upside of Mirror Box, I should say, is we can beseech off of it. I think we got to kill this Graveyard Trespasser. Discard the Likeness Looter, so at least we have something in the graveyard. We want a Mirror Box on the battlefield, but we might have to sack one to beseech the mirror. Opponent, Schwamp. And Sheoldred. Alright. Oh, there's nothing worse than getting out Sheoldred when all your cards are Sheoldred. How is that even possible? So we're going to beseech the mirror for a Sheoldred. The problem is, our opponent's got the first Sheoldred, and that means we're taking a lot of damage here. And then they're mono black, so they can probably kill our Sheoldred. What is a group of Sheoldreds called? That's the real question. You got like gaggles of geese and, you know, frolics of deer, stuff like that. There's got to be a Phyrexian phrase for it, right? About it. How do you like our Sheoldred? At least we have the better looking Sheoldred. Although, I don't know how we beat a Phyrexian Obliterator plus a Sheoldred. Even without a fight spell, Obliterator can't block it. If we do, we just literally sack our board. A Slither of Sheoldreds. I don't think our opponent's salty roping because they got no reason to be salty. They are kind of crushing us at the moment. I think our odds of winning this game are very small, so I'm pretty sure our opponent's not intentionally salting out here. Usually people don't salt out when they're about to win. Well, it gives us more time to talk about Sheoldred. So, I mean, Sheoldred, obviously Sheoldred. Invasion of Amonkhet, that's a Sheoldred. Cruelty of Gix gets a Sheoldred back from the graveyard, so that's a Sheoldred. Mirror Box, when I first built this deck, I didn't have Mirror Box, and it was pretty boring because you could only ever have one Sheoldred on the battlefield, so it kind of didn't feel as Sheoldred-y as I wanted. So Mirror Box is the card that actually lets us have a bunch of Sheoldreds. Wow, our opponent's actually just going to time out. So opponent times out, passes their turn, but I honestly do not think it matters. unless our opponent's just gone. I'm still not sure we can win. Cruelty of Bricks. Let's see what you got going on over there, Opponerino. Well, we'll take the Liliana because that kills our Sheoldred, but they have an Infernal Grasp. I'm pretty sure our opponent just, like, had Arena Crash, skip their turn, and still beat us. Not even close. There's another Obliterator in hand. Well, out Sheoldreded. We are playing Sheoldreds. Only Sheoldreds. All Sheoldreds in Standard this week. And this hand's not bad. As long as we hit one more land, we can ramp into Sheoldred. Likeness Looter might be better here, though. Since we didn't hit a land, Likeness Looter can help make sure we get to a land next turn. So think about Sheoldred. It does cost 4 mana. So we don't really get Sheoldreds until we get to 4 mana usually. Opponent. White Source passes. Well, there's the land. So our opponent playing control. Seagarm Coast is not the most control-y land. It might be like Soldiers or something. Yeah, usually I don't think Control plays Seachrome Coast. This is Control Colors, though. Oh, it's Gandalf, duh. Another land that's not, like, super big in Control decks. I don't know what our opponent's up to. If our opponent counters it, we'll be sad, but we can Cruelty X, which is also Sheoldred. Yeah, let's loot. Discard. Yeah, probably the Candy Grapple at this point. Ooh. Ooh, where's our Mirror Box? Sheoldred. Iron Crag. You can stay mana for now. Pass the turn. Opponent, drained by Sheoldred. I guess we can try to Cruelty of Gix for a mirror. Oh, is our opponent playing mill? Are you milling us? Really? Okay, founding the third path. Go for the throw on Sheoldred. Well, we're gonna loot in response. Get rid of the Apprentice's Folly. There's more Sheoldreds where that came from. Many, many more, like 36 more. Well, 35 more. I mean, we have one right on the battlefield. We could just flip Likeness Looter into a Sheoldred. Although we have a Sheoldred in hand, so I actually don't know what we do here. Cruelty of Gix might be better. We have the Iron Crag, so back for seconds does reanimate Sheoldred. Sunset Revelry, sure. I'm very tempted to Cruelty of Gix. It's not an immediate Sheoldred. I mean, we are the all-Sheoldred deck. Flavor-wise, it should be Sheoldred, but power level-wise, I think we need the Cruelty here. Ooh, okay, Jace. Well, I'm glad to get rid of the Jace. We also get to see what's in our opponent's hand. A Wrath in a March, although they only have Mirrex for black mana. Opponent mills us a bit, sure. So they can play the Mirrex to get black mana for a turn, but that means they currently can't cast both of their removal spells. Opponent gets in, hits us. Yup. Okay, they drew another blue-white source. Well, let's loot. Discard the Likeness Looter. Cruelty of Gix. Let's just take Virtue. We're gonna have a lot of Sheoldreds in the graveyard. Kill a token. Play a Sheoldred. Yeah, we're gonna leave the Iron Crag. We are 1 mana away from virtuing. Opponent can copy Answer and Sorcery from the graveyard. Probably Sunset Revelry. Actually, that's the only option, I think, so. I guess they can Mirrex Wrath, or the thing is, like, killing the shield. We have the Cruelty of Gix on the battlefield, so our opponent has to know that killing the Sheoldred doesn't really do anything. All right, opponent's gonna march the Sheoldred. We will discard the Candy Grapple. Sheoldred dies. Opponent gets and hits us. We do kind of want a mirror box, though. Well, Cruelty of Gix, Sheoldred. Always Sheoldred. We do have this Wrath if they find a black source. I mean, we still have Prentice's Folly. Prentice's Folly, copy Sheoldred. Loot, gain a bunch of life. Oh, there's the mirror box too. Okay. Sheoldred, gain, hit ya. Down to 21. Well, let's see if they got black mana. Opponent really needs that Wrath or they're just gonna die right now. And if they do Wrath, we just need a land and we get back all of our Sheoldreds and we got the mirror box now. Opponent, Sheoldred down to, oh, they drew the swamp. All right, so they can stay alive with this Path of Peril. Why not just Wrath? I'm so confused. Snapcaster mode. To go for the throw, a Sheoldred. Opponent is really trying not to cast this Path of Peril for some reason. It made sense when they didn't have the mana, but okay. Well, Sheoldred, trigger, gain, copy Likeness Looter, play the land, play the Virtue, get in, hit ya. Sadly, we are gonna lose our tokens here since they're reflections. Although at some point our opponent really truly is gonna have to Wrath. I don't know why they're putting off the inevitable. It doesn't matter now because there's Teresian Mindbreaker. Okay. Opponent still does not believe they have to Wrath. Well, we will loot. Discard a land. And loot. Discard a land. Trigger Sheoldred. Reanimate. Yeah, it's just Sheoldred. We're gonna lose. Do we want that to be an equipment? Probably not. All right, so Sheoldred triggers. Our reflections sadly go away. That's okay though, because we still have Sheoldred, and Likeness Looter is a Sheoldred, and we have the mirror box now. So I think we mirror box. Is there a chance we die? I don't think so. 33 cards, so they mill half. Even if they draw a Jace, we don't die. Flying Sheoldred, but even better. Now it flies. We want to do this before we reanimate the Sheoldred, because once we reanimate the Sheoldred, then it won't be there to copy. Get in, hit ya, down to 5. Opponent, 2 Sheoldred triggers. Sheoldred, down to 3. Sheoldred, down to 1. You gotta Path the Peril, opponent. You gotsta. They should have done it like a million. I do not know why our opponent does not want to cast this Wrath. Maybe it's the Cleave confusion. Cleave is a weird mechanic. Opponent gets in, mills half of our deck, which is actually good because we have a bunch of ways to reanimate Sheoldreds. We will block. Down to 25. Now it's too late though, right? So our opponent can Wrath our Sheoldreds. All right, they did figure out the cleaving. So they cleave away our Sheoldreds, unfortunately for our opponent. We got 36 of them. Sheoldred returns, and opponent scoops it up. Yeah, they just get drained out on their upkeep or draw step. It's a little slow to get our original, oh god. Oh god. Swift Spear. Okay, that's not a hello. Yes, hello, Monastery Swift Spear. Hello, easy to say once you have a hasty one drop. But yes, hello to you, Kashu. Iron Craig's not a horrible draw, I guess. Can we mill a Sheoldred? That would be sweet. Oh, they're killing it. All right. Don't mill a Sheoldred then. Mill's a land. Well, that's perfectly fine. We have all the lands we need. Oh god. Yeah, we might be a little dead here. Down to 14. Well, at least Mono Red has the decency of killing us quickly. Let's play the Iron Crag. Play a tap land. Not gonna, oh. Yeah. Well, GG Mono Red. Alright, that sounds pretty reasonable. Oh, no. Is this Mono Red again? At least there's no Swift Spear. Play with fire. That's much less scary than Swift Spear. I don't know what to think of Mono Red. Like, Mono Red on the play can just be Felden. Can just be too fast for us to even get our Sheoldreds going. Although we do have turn 3 Sheoldred this game because of Iron Crag. And also Beseech the Mirror. Probably better known as Sheoldred. Kessig Flame Breather. Opponent gets and hits us. Well, it is time. Beseech the Mirror. The Mirror says, how about a Sheoldred? Alright, opponent. We're down to 14, but that is turn 3 Sheoldred. Is that fast enough to beat Mono Red with Mono Red on the play? Opponent, Sheoldred Drain. Down to 18. I think the real question is going to be, Reckless Impulse. What do they find? Lightning Strike in Mountain. Well, that does mean we can't block this Felden. Yeah, if we block the Felden, then Sheoldred definitely dies, and we don't really want it to die yet. We can't Cruelty of Gixit this turn. Candy Grapple's actually a pretty good draw. Play black, cleave cliffs. We can Candy Grapple something. Is it Lightning Strike time? Yeah, down to 10, down to 9. I mean, we are down to 9, even with Sheoldred gaining us life. We might have to start cycling Triomes just to gain 2. Opponent, Sheoldred, drain them. Oven Lover. That is such a weird thing to love. Who loves an oven? Are there like oven hobbyists? Are there people who collect ovens? We're gonna block Felden this time. If something goes wrong and they try to Lightning Strike, we can Candy Grapple it. I think we just kill the Flame Breather. We have a little more freedom here to actually block with Sheoldred because worst case, we know we can Cruelty of Gixit back. Although it does mean we lose a trigger, which would mean losing on some life gain. Oven Lover. There's not a magic. Oh, Stoke the Flame. Okay, we are down to 4. We might just be dead. But also gets to go 4 cards deep with Felden here. Takes a Mishra's Foundry. Well, we're going to play a Likeness Looter. We're at 6, however, we can cycle these Xander's Lounges. Opponent down to 14. If Likeness Looter lives, we can start gaining enough life that we get out of the danger zone. There's a Kessig Flame Breather in response. Sheoldred, gain 2. Ooh, another Likeness Looter. All right, back up to 8. A little bit outside of the danger zone. What else do you have? Reckless Impulse. Pings us back down to 7. Phoenix Chick and a Mountain. All right, there's a Phoenix Chick. I mean, we're not gonna block because looting actually gains us more life than we're losing. So we draw Sheoldred up to 8. Yeah, let's just Likeness Looter. Nothing worth reanimating with Cruelty of Gix. Let's Likeness Loot. Ooh, Mirror Box. Yeah, let's discard the Cruelty. Mirror Box could do something eventually, although we're not going to play it this turn because we want to be able to cycle Xander's Lounge. Such a messed up magic card, my god. Opponent down to 8 because of Sheoldred. Plays a land. Fires up Mishra's Foundry. We will chump. In response, cycles Xander's Lounge. Sheoldred, gain 2. Another Mirror Box. Wait, does this give us Mirror Box lethal with 1 Sheoldred? It is an Anthem for Legends. So opponent gets drained, or we gain life. Mirror Box. Mirror Box, pump that Sheoldred. Mirror Box, pump that Sheoldred. That's 6, yeah. Get in with the Sheoldred. Double Mirror Box. Opponent goes to 2. And then we will pass to you, opponent. And opponent draws. And Sheoldred. Well, apparently we can beat Mono Red on the play. Sheoldred power. All of our cards, everyone. Well, not counting the lands. And the lands are kind of Sheoldreds, because if we don't have lands, we don't get to play any Sheoldreds. So you could argue even the lands are Sheoldreds. This hand's pretty good. We can ramp into Sheoldred, and then copy Sheoldred, and then keep it because of Mirror Box. Recruitment Officer, sure. Well, we will play a land in Iron Crag. Turn 3 Sheoldred, too good to pass up here. Plains, yes, and a Copper Coat Vanguard. Going aggro. Well, we have bad news, opponent. Sheoldred, number 1. Hits 4/5. Good luck attacking through that Recruitment Officer, ya piddly little 2/1. Opponent, Swamp, okay. So opponent could actually have removal. Graveyard Trespasser, not a Sheoldred to beseech the mirror. So we get to, and then, yeah, let's just leave up the Candy Grapple. Kind of hoping our opponent tries to mass block and we blow him out. All right, opponent does not. Well, opponent goes to 13. Sheoldred. Next turn, we can beseech the mirror for Sheoldred too. Oh, opponent, okay. Sheoldred Wars. I mean, that's a testament to the bustedness of this card, right? This is actually kind of awkward now. Well, we wanted to beseech the mirror, sacking Iron Crag to get a Sheoldred. But we might have a change of plans because I think we have to kill this Sheoldred. Yeah, it's just kind of sad. It does throw off our double Sheoldred plan because we can't bargain twice without sagging Mirror Box. And then another Sheoldred doesn't really help. So sag the Iron Crag, get rid of the Sheoldred. Untap. Ooh, Apprentices. Wait, how good is this? Apprentices Folly on Sheoldred. Copy Sheoldred. Hasty Sheoldred. And, oh, that's game. All right, 2 Sheoldreds. Opponent, would you like to draw for your turn, friend? No, they would rather scoop. Just Sheoldred things. You never have too many Sheoldreds. That's if there's one thing we've learned in the last year. Well, Xander's Lounge, go. Llanowar Ways. Well, Schwamp and Likeness Luda. Do a little looting to see if we can find a land or two. Devouring Sugar Maw. Let's do a little looting. See if we can find a land card. No. Well, discard a Likeness Looter, play the Iron Crag. We did find a Beseech the Mirror, which isn't bad. Beseech means we can find a Sheoldred once we find a land. Opponent. Flesh Gorger. Aha. Hey, all right, there's a land. Well, I mean, we're gonna do the thing, which is Beseech the Mirror. Super duper busted Beseech the Mirror. Sag the Iron Crag. And what should we tutor up? How about a Sheoldred? Oh, all right, there's a Sheoldred. Pass the turn. Opponent. Archfiend of the Dross. All right, that is big and scary and flying. We literally do not have a card in our deck that can kill an Archfiend of the Dross. I guess multiple removal spells could potentially do it, but, well, let's discard a Cruelty. Gain a life with Sheoldred, another Likeness Looter. Our plan might be to just, like, keep playing Likeness Looters, draw enough cards that, okay, it's a land. Yeah, let's just discard it. Gain some life, up to 22. I think our plan, play enough Likeness Looters that we can trigger our Sheoldreds enough times that we kill our opponent with their own Archfiends, maybe? Opponent has to remove a oil counter. They can also play this Sugar Maw, though. Opponent down to 13. Okay, fight rigging. I mean, I've seen fight rigging whiff before. It's only top 5. Like, sometimes it's all like Mana Dorks or something. Better not be a Sheoldred. That's the one thing I will say. I don't know if we can live long enough, especially since if we start chumping, we take damage from this Archfiend. I guess it's really gonna depend on what this fight rigging hits. That's gonna pretty much determine our odds. So opponent finds a card, goes to combat, puts a counter on the Archfiend of Dross. Fight rigging says, yeah, I don't know if we can beat this now. So I think we have to double block this Flesh Gorger. Actually, we can wait. Let's go to 14. We can wait one more turn. Like, because we're gonna gain 2 from the Likeness Looter by keeping it. Ooh, Apprentice's Folly, okay. Does that change things? Play the land, Apprentice's Folly. There is no way we win this game, right? Sheoldred's not that good. Apprentice's Folly, copy Sheoldred. So every likeness looter is gain 4. Opponent's gonna gain some life, back up to 19. They are on the Archfiend of the Draws clock. It's down to 2 counters. Well, Sheoldred Drainia, Sheoldred Drainia, Flesh Gwaja. We can also block with the token Sheoldred and then make another one. So we're probably gonna have to double block the big Flesh Gorger. Do we block the little one too is the question. Because we can only ever have 1 token with the same name from Apprentice's Folly. So we can't make 2 tokens of the same Sheoldred. Oh, okay. That's gonna make things hard. Kills the Sheoldred. Candy Grapple. Cruelty of Gix is probably just too slow. Yeah, let's discard that. All right, Sheoldred, gain some life. And then Likeness Looter. Beseech the Mirror. That's actually kind of nice because we can sack the Apprentice's Folly and keep a Sheoldred. All right, so gain some life, back up to 24. Lose life from the Archfiend of Draws. Back down to 1 Sheoldred temporarily and 12. And our opponent gets to keep the Flesh Gorger in 10. Oh no. Oh, I don't know if we can live 2 more turns. I don't know if we can do it. Virtue. Well, okay, Sheoldred. Beseech the Mirror. Bargain away the Apprentice's Folly. Is there anything that matters here? I don't think there is. We might just be dead. Invasion would trigger a Sheoldreds. Mirror Box would, we're just under so much pressure. I think it's gotta be Invasion. So Invasion, trigger. Oh my God, they discarded Atraxa. Wait, that changes it. Oh my goodness. Because we can flip it, right? Because this one's, oh, they're hasty. We get to flip it and get an Atraxa. Opponent can't block both of them. How in the world? How in the world are we beating this? Invasion Omega. Yeah, how about a Lazatep convert? We can't take it. An opponent scoops it up. We had no business winning that game. This is fine. We got 4 Sheoldreds, 3 lands. Good enough. Well, Shipwreck Marsh. Yeah. Opponent Mountain. Well, play the land. Let's Iron Crag. I feel like with our opponent having open mana, if we run out the Likeness Looter, a play with fire or something's a realistic possibility. This also gives us 8 chances to have a Sheoldred on the battlefield next turn if we draw Beseech or Sheoldred. And that would be pretty good. Ooh, Rakdos. Transmogran's Crown. Well, did not draw anything super exciting. Yeah, I guess we just Likeness Looter. Oh, boom. I keep wondering if some sort of sack deck could be good with the new pieces. Shakedown heavy. Okay. Another Iron Crag. Well, that's Cruelty of Gix. Start at the beginning. No reading ahead here. Take our opponent's fling creature. Wait, are they trying to fling Shakedown heavies at us? Is that what's happening here? Are they trying to... Okay. That's a thing. I mean, our opponent has a ridiculous amount of card draw with this Transmogran's Crown and Shakedown Heavy. Wow. Oy, that's even more card draw with Urbra's Forge. We need to get a Sheoldred to punish our opponent for drawing cards. That's what we need. Because then we can let our opponent draw with Shakedown Heavy and our opponent's just shocking their own face repeatedly. We're not blocking. Let's loot. That's not a Sheoldred. Well, I mean, it is a Sheoldred, but it's not currently a Sheoldred. We need a more immediate Sheoldred. Yeah, opponent hits us down to 13. Next turn, we might have to let them start drawing, unfortunately. They also have the Lightning Strike in hand. Yep, Lycop's Crown, sacks, draws a card. It's kind of a neat little synergy. Urbra's Forge, Transmogran's Crown. Well, here comes Sheoldred. We drop to 10. Which is actually kind of deceptive because, yeah, I guess we make this an equipment and then play the Iron Crag. Actually kind of deceptive because they have this Lightning Strike. So we're really at 7. If they have to, like, land Lightning Strike Brotherhood End to get rid of Sheoldred, at least we get rid of the Shakedown Heavy. I don't know how we beat the Urbra's Forge, but we would have to accept that at this point. Plus, we'd be able to reanimate the Sheoldred. Opponent, combat attacks. We are going to block and block. See if we can get rid of the Shakedown Heavy. Because remember, we have this Cruelty of Gix for next turn anyway. So we might be able to actually get rid of the Shakedown Heavy here. But then our opponent kind of has nothing. Plus, we get to gain life from the Sheoldred. Discard a mirror box. Actually, we might be in okay shape now. We might be in okay shape. So the Shakedown Heavy is gone. We're still technically at 10. We get to get back our Sheoldred and Apprentice Folly the Sheoldred. So I don't have 2 Sheoldreds for a minute at least. Could use a bargain spell to get rid of the Apprentice's Folly. Well, let's see what our opponent does. All right, opponent equips. Sure. Shakedown Heavy. Sure. And draws a card. Sure. Back for seconds. Well, now that we drew back for seconds, we might actually just take our opponent's Shakedown Heavy, because we can only reanimate our Sheoldred once. Let's take the Shakedown Heavy. Get a Sheoldred. Get a Likeness Looter back to hand. Sack the Equipment Iron Crag. Well, okay. I mean, opponent does have the Shakedown Heavy, but we have rebuilt our board. And we actually kind of have a fast clock now. Like, we're not in immediate danger of dying, because we can always just make our opponent draw with the Shakedown Heavy. All right, opponent's gonna equip the Crown. Sure. Oh, just kidding. Maybe we very much are in immediate danger of dying. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Flings it in her face. The infamous Voldaren Thrill Seeker Shakedown Heavy combo. Apparently more powerful than Sheoldred. Than our entire deck full of Sheoldreds. Doing some more Sheoldreding. Except all of our cards are wow, okay, this hand is actually great. Mirror box, double Sheoldred. What more could we want? We even have a Candy Grapple Sheoldred. All right, opponent, what are you up to, friend? Tap land. Well, Xander's Lounge. Land is good. I mean, Mirror box, Sheoldred. Opponent plays the tap land. Well, we'll play a Mirror box and pass the turn. Opponent. Blood Tithe Harvesta. Sure. Passes. Well, play a land. Play Sheoldred. Opponent. How's your Blood Tithe doing? Draws a card. Drain ya. Opponent scoops it up. Sometimes it takes only one. All the Sheoldreds are really good, but part of the power of Sheoldred is sometimes it only takes one and your opponent scoops it up on turn 3 and you get a free win. Sheoldred power. So what did we learn this week about playing a deck that is literally all Sheoldreds in Standard? And there's good news. Overall, we actually only won 33% of the time with the deck, which I guess means maybe Sheoldred's not a problem after all. Looking for even more magic? Well, check out the video where we talked about the least balanced cycles in the history of Magic, or maybe our cookie deck where we got pretty aggro in Standard with Sir Ginger.